Good afternoon, boys and girls. It is good to see everybody today. Got a piece of wood here. I think it's pear. I am not positive. I have turned a tenon on the bottom end, so it'll go in my chuck. And we're going to do one of those pod flower things, a large bloom on the top, very thin. And then as we come down, we're going to have a thin stem and then a big, heavy pod on the bottom that'll hold it. And then if this is as dry as I think it is, I'm going to have to wet it. I'll probably soak it for a couple of days, and then I'll set it out so it can that stem will bend and warp over. Let me bring a couple of my friends in. Got Queen Ruby from
Good
Canada,
evening,
and I've
everyone.
got Wayne the wizard, the wood wizard, from a dry
I'd
home, and
rather
we're
be a
glad.
wizard than a queen.
Well, if I called Wayne a queen, it wouldn't be so good.
I've been
But
called one
anyway,
Darn.
worse.
And
yes,
I was
yes, you
hoping we
have.
could trade.
All right, put you guys back in the background, and as I get started here, one of them will read off the chat and let us know who all's here today.
Go ahead, Wayne.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah,
Right,
Mark's
so
not here, so somebody's got to.
yeah.
They'd rather listen to your accent than mine.
And first in tonight is Andy, door 60. We've got Gerard in, Gerard the French Turner. And he said, Bonsoir, Doug. Told you you would see more of me. You might regret it.
Nope.
Ronald,
Nope, nope.
Ronald Todd's in. Alex Wurzel. Fred Gilliver. Todd at Glen Cove. Deal's in, Old Man River. Still going. Barry Chitty's just come in. Malcolm Douglas. Oh, that just jumped a bit. Still going down. Oh, Susie's in. Good evening, Susie. The Professor's in. Chris Walters is in. And still going down. Anthony Green is in. Tim Ponder. Clint at Wood Dancers. And Deal's just saying that they're getting a mix of rain, freezing, and snow after 6 inches of snow over the weekend. And Lucy's in as well. Hi, Lucy.
Hey, Lucy.
Albert's in. Evening, Al. Pete's in. Pete from Twisted Trees with his usual morning all.
Good morning, Pete.
Healy's in. Oh, Healy, can you message me your address, please? I am probably going to do a piece of that wood I got from you tomorrow night. Oh no, it's just jumped again. We're still going down. Sorry about that. Barry's in. Baz, Real Simple Things. Evening, Baz. Roger Kent just come in. And Mark's here.
Hi, Mark.
And he said, evening everyone, I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you for all your kind words. They mean so much. Jennifer's in. Jennifer's Crafts and Creations.
Ron Todd says, thank you for bringing up the tailstock, Doug. You know, I'll second that.
It's going to go away here in just half a second.
Yeah, but
And Andrew, sorry, go on.
once you get it balanced out, it'll turn better.
Yes.
And Andrew from AGK has just come in.
Hey, Andrew. Precious.
Oh, Gerard's
Turn
just
around.
said that Someone asked how he was doing, and he said, not too good. He's had a slip on the pavement and got a cracked rib.
Oh no.
That's painful.
Yes, it is.
Everybody's saying hello to each other.
All right, we got some of the roughing done, so I'm just going to back that out so I can get to the front end of it.
Right, we were a bit late there. Susie did ask for a overhead camera, but you're going on to the end of it now, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Yep. Sorry, Susie. All we were doing was roughing out that outer edge of this branch. I am using my 1/2 inch Doug Thompson gouge, freshly sharpened. It's doing a great job.
Right, somebody else just came in there.
Yeah,
Oh,
Jennifer.
Thomas Kenny.
And Jennifer's Craft and Creations has joined.
Hey Jennifer,
Um,
hey Tom.
Chris, he's making a flower pod. So it'll be like a pod at the bottom with a very thin flower on the top.
All right, got that inside about where I want it. Let's give it a
and
quick
James
sand.
Crawford's just come in as well. Good evening, James.
Hey James.
Gerald's just said, this is not the first time he's broken ribs, by the way, by the sounds of it. He had seven broken ribs while skiing because a snowboarder cut in his path, and he hit a bridge.
Yeah,
Ow!
those snowboarders can be a problem when you're skiing.
I broke a rib roller skating one time. A little girl stumbled right in front of me, and I panicked. And so to keep from landing on her, I did a nosedive the opposite direction and landed with my arm underneath my ribs. That didn't feel good.
No, it usually doesn't. And Pete just mentioned, could we possibly have a few more thumbs up, please? By all means, please do hit the thumbs up button. And Chris Walters says, I need to stop watching wood turning YouTube videos because I want to do every single project out there. That's a good attitude, Chris.
And what you do is save those to a file. Save the ones you want to do. I've got a file labeled future projects. So when I see something I really want to do or try, I go to that file and I did want to do something like that. And it works out pretty well usually. All right. Just giving that a quick sanding. Then we're going to come back and start working on the back side of this flower. It needs to be pretty thin. And we will change. I thought about it on my own.
There you go.
Thought about it on my own. We'll go to an overhead. Make sure we're not hitting anywhere. We're not. Here we go. Back to my Doug Thompson. This is a branch. It's going long ways. It is spindle orientation. And I could use my spindle gouge without any problem. In fact, it would be a good tool to use. But I just like my 1/2 inch bowl gouges.
When I do those, what I often do is I shine a very bright light on the inside, and then I can see exactly how thin it's getting by the light coming through the wood.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it.
Right now, there'd be no light coming through.
When Pete says that he has a file he calls stolen design ideas.
There you go.
Makes perfect sense to me, Pete.
Absolutely. Stolen Designs is a good name for it.
Well, maybe permanently borrowed.
Like
There you
Doug
go.
said
That
earlier,
works.
this piece of wood that he's doing this with is fairly dry. If you want to have a go at doing this, use a very wet branch.
Yeah, a green branch is much easier, and the light will transmit through it a lot easier too.
Right. In fact,
All right,
Doug,
just for
this
fun.
piece was so dry that Doug's moisture meter read 0.
Yes, yes, it did. It surely did. All right.
Gerard says that he loves skiing, but his wife won't allow him to go anymore. He had an accident paragliding. The chute never opened and he fell from about 2 meters high and has ended up with a metal plate just below his knee. If I were your wife, Gerard, I wouldn't allow you to go either.
Yeah, exactly. Just give it up.
Pete is asking, did it read 0 and no battery at the same time? So it could be your meter needs a new battery.
No, didn't say anything about my battery. Just the moisture level. Just wouldn't read at all. It wouldn't read at all. It's so low.
Yeah. Lucy, the wood is pear,
We think
possibly.
Maybe, perhaps.
it's cutting like pear. I'm getting as dry as it is. I'm getting real nice shavings off of it.
Oh,
Matt
Matt's just come in.
All right.
Hi, Matt.
Matt says he learned funnels all on his own. Knock
You
on
learn the
wood.
funnels on your own. How did you do that?
I haven't done that
Well,
yet.
so much for that one.
Oops.
So
Oops.
much for that one. It got a little too thin. So let's see. What can we? Oh, I know what we can do. I know what we can do. Come back to this point. That was intended that time.
Pete says that was a different form of
All right. I'm
funnel.
gonna make a cleaning pass across the front. That's it. That's it. If I come back to
Oh,
in
Ben's just
view,
come in as well.
then Susie doesn't have to
Ben.
worry about. Hey, you Ben? Just got in from McDonald's, did you?
Funnily
Hi,
enough,
Ben.
funnily enough, Lucy just asked him what he was having for dinner tonight.
McDonald's. All right. This is just going to be a shorter flower than it was. If I don't do it again. If I do it again, we're going to change right in the middle of the process, which I know nobody else has ever done that before.
Right.
I'd
Now,
be the first one to ever change.
there's a couple of people asking about the feed, the video feed. Now,
Uh
Doug
huh.
did notice before we started that it was being a bit glitchy, the video feed. Now, his internet speed is absolutely fine for what he's doing, so we don't know where it's coming from.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a little puzzling. Little puzzling.
Now he's coming through here just fine.
Yeah, I'm noticing it on OBS. It looks great on StreamYard is where it's. I was seeing it looking kind of.
Glitchy.
You
Yeah,
might want
glitchy
to
is a good
change
word.
your camera, Doug.
Go back to the overhead.
And Jamie's just come in. Evening, Jamie.
Hey,
Hey,
Jamie.
Jamie.
Maybe I won't try to go that as thin as I was last time. I had it down about where I wanted. I was just cleaning up the outside, and I got a little too heavy-handed.
I mean, the other thing with running stuff through OBS and then through StreamYard is obviously it's going through two different mediums.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, that's what it is. Pete's just said it's.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Pete,
it's
Pete
Mark's.
hit it.
Yeah, it's Mark's fault. Yeah, definitely. Mark
Oh,
was in the
poor
workshop
Mark.
the day. Yeah, he was in the workshop the day, moving his lathe about so his cameras had worked properly, and he's broken the internet. That's what he's done.
That's it. Yes.
And, Andy, that's a terrible thing to say. So Andy, the woodwork learner, said, "Hi all, not so keen on Wayne's moisture meter. A boat. Sorry, Wayne. Cheers, man." Ronald Todd has said it might be a good time to switch to a spindle gouge.
Nah.
Nah.
What can I do with a spindle gouge I can't do with a bowl gouge?
Ben's got the answer. He says the fact that Mark's walls aren't painted white is slowing down Doug's connection.
There you go. There you go.
I asked him about that, and I don't remember what his answer was. I just forgot.
Norman Greenwell has just come in. Good evening, Norman.
Hi,
Hey,
Norman.
Norman. Good to have all of you in today. It's kind of a wet, dreary day here. A little cold around the edges, but it's a great day to be in the shop. Great day to have you along with me. See, I've got to work backwards on this for just a moment. Get this stem down where I want it.
Now, JP has said, and what you can't do with a spindle gouge and a bowl gouge, you can do with a carbide. Just saying. You're
A
absolutely right, Jamie.
lot of times. A lot of times.
See, Jamie's favourite thing to say, and I remember him saying this quite a lot of times, was that whenever anybody did anything, he used to be able to do that with a scroll saw.
Yes, I remember him saying that. I do.
That's interesting. And Pete says that he has it on good authority that Mark is expecting Kim to decorate his workshop.
I hope Kim's not watching.
For Mark's sake, yes. Except that Pete does admit he made it up. Oh, Lucy says, Pete, Kim will make sure it's pink and fluffy then.
Poor Mark.
Kim and I had an interesting discussion the other day about design and form. It didn't really go very well.
It was good to see pictures of her on the lathe the other day.
It really was, yes.
When I
Kim
was there, I did offer to teach her.
Yeah. Yeah, and she looked like she was very comfortable in the pictures. Um, if I remember right, Mark made a comment to somebody that she took to it like a duck to water.
Yeah, well, the comment I made was Kim Prestige RPT.
There you
And
go.
Norman Greenwell has joined us.
Hey,
Now, Jamie thinks that the shop should be yellow and black. Just saying.
that's too funny. Too funny.
Mark says she was using a skew by the end.
Yeah. You know, the way y'all were talking, I thought maybe Mark left, but Mark, you're still in. Good.
Yeah, he's still here.
So we're not talking behind his back at all.
No, not at all.
All right, I'm just about to the point. We're going to stop and do a little sanding. I think that's where we're going to stop, right there. And I am not going to fool around anymore. I'm going to step over here. I'm going to reach in my little box.
Now, Gerard was wondering if Mark will wear his pink tutu in the shop, and Mark has answered not until this summer.
Yeah, it's that's warm weather gear. All
Was
right.
that when you bring yours out, Doug?
I don't own one. Thank you very much.
Hopefully, that will be after I've been down to see Mark.
There you go. Fold that edge over just a little bit. I have.
Well, Lucy suggests that he could get pink leg warmers to keep him warm.
Oh my god, that's going back to the 80s, is it not?
Well, if he's wearing a pink tutu, why not? And let's get the ones with the toes in them too. had a fella that my wife worked with talked her into believing that, what do y'all call them over there? The knitted caps that you pull over your head don't have
A
any form to
toque.
them.
A toque.
You call them a toque in Canada.
Yep.
Um, Here they're called all kinds of things. For some reason, I always know what people are talking about though. Anyway, the old name is a toboggan, and this guy talked my wife into believing that a toboggan was really pronounced toboggan, and that it was leggings with toes in them. So
Okay.
in a conversation at home, she's talking about a toboggan.
Oh
And
dear.
mind you, we are living in the Blue Ridge Mountains at the time, and they have all kind of strange terms and sayings and whatnot. And so I was trying to figure out just what she was trying to say by a toboggan. Turns out she was talking about a toboggan, but she was using it improperly, talking about something that goes on her feet. I'm thinking, what in the world is this woman talking about? That same
Hey,
that same
no.
guy. Go ahead, Wayne.
But Al's just said that he's always amazed, Doug, when I watch you change your tool from hand to hand. It looks so natural for you. He can't change from hand to hand that easily.
It's two things, Al. One, I'm very fortunate. I was born ambidextrous. Um, in fact, when I was in first and second grade, I was not learning how to write very well because what they told me later was that my biggest problem was that I would sit there at my desk with an assignment and I couldn't decide which hand to use. And
I
so
had a similar problem. So what they did was tied my left hand to the back of my chair.
that's what they did to me.
Yeah.
So
I'd give my
now,
to tell you the truth, I'd give my right hand to be ambidextrous.
No,
that would
no,
kind of mess
you
things
really
up.
wouldn't, believe me. Now, JP
Right.
just said JP just said he spent 9 hours in the shop today, non-stop turning, and he's only halfway through his project. Hopefully it'll be his next video, and it's going to be a pain to edit though.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, it
you
will
have to
be.
tell us now, Jamie. You have to tell us what it is. And
I've got an idea.
Lucy has put in that my toque and your toboggan are also called balaclavas.
No,
Which
but
is
is
true.
it called a balaclava? The balaclava for us is like a ski mask.
And
Oh, not a ski type thing with just the like the robbers wear with just the eyes and nose basically cut out.
Right,
yeah,
right.
That's what the balaclava is. We have
and
a thing
Mark,
called a bobble hat, which basically is just a hat that goes over your head. And the reason it's called a bubble hat is because it usually has a bubble of wool on the top.
Yeah, right. Well, that's what I'm talking about as a toboggan.
yeah, well, Mark is calling it a beanie, and a beanie is something totally different here. A beanie is like a baseball hat, but without the brim.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, beanies what they used to tease about college freshmen had to wear all the time.
Hmm.
Or in the cartoons they would have a beanie with a propeller on the top of it.
Yeah, Matt said a toboggan is a long wood sled that you ride on. Yeah, exactly. That's what we
Yeah.
call them as well.
Yes, yes.
Jamie says Doug is ambidextrous, but he didn't know you could walk on water too. Walk
No,
on
can't
water.
do that.
And
I've tried,
Jamie,
but
Jamie said balaclava is a pastry dessert. Lol.
made by the Greeks, right?
That's right.
I know what
And
that one
and,
is.
and
Oh God.
Gerard says that Doug, your your pronunciation of toboggan sounds like Trabolgan, which is a holiday resort in Ireland near the city of Jameson,
Huh.
Middleton.
Now, Woodwork Learner has said, my dates preferred me to wear a balaclava for some reason. Yeah, they preferred you to wear it backwards.
It makes it tough to breathe.
Yes, Mark, it is baklava. Yeah.
But to convince somebody to mispronounce it intentionally and convince them that it's something you put on your feet, that kind of beat it all. But that was in that age when the leggings were around, and then you could also get them with toes in them so that your toes would be warm.
What
You
do you
could.
mean when they were around? They're still around today.
They're still around. They're not the style anymore.
Yeah, they were the style when we were younger.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I never
All
used
right,
to
I'm
wear
just
them.
putting my finger in the middle of this thing because, as you can see, it's
It's wobbling.
Well,
getting
usually when I
wobbly.
make those, I bring the tailstock up and I tie a string so that it's pulling it towards the tailstock.
Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
what Doug usually does with these thin stem goblets.
Yes, when my long goblets, when the stem is a bit longer than this, um, I will bring the tailstock up, put something in here, and tape it all together, then pull it with the tailstock. Just a little bit. You don't want to pull too hard, or you pull the live center right out of the tailstock.
Yeah, because
But
that's
this
the
is,
way it puts tension on the stem rather than compression
yeah,
on the stem.
Right.
yes.
And Alan
And that
Gibbs
is
just
not
come
a,
in.
hey, Alan, that's not an unusual thing for me to do. Um, fact, well, I had just gotten I'd just gotten registered so that I could chat. Um, and Wayne was doing a goblet, and I asked him about that. And Wayne, I don't know if you understood that or not, but there was a lot of it. It took a long time. People were talking about it forever.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen you do it. I've seen Mike Walt do it.
Uh huh.
I haven't seen many other turners actually use that
If
system,
you
to
look
tell you
at
the
my
truth.
YouTube video on a goblet, I do it as well.
Yeah,
Yeah. Your tension is good when you go down really thin. If you have any heft to it at all, um, applying a little bit of pressure is okay. But when you get down this size or even smaller, you do a 1/16 inch stem, you're
Yep.
going to have trouble if you put pressure on it. In fact, it won't last. As soon as that wood starts to move at all, it's gone.
Yeah.
and
Roger
mud as
is
well.
asking, Doug, if that's some of your new sandpaper.
It is some of my new sandpaper. I was going to say a while ago. I dumped the other stuff a while ago. The white stuff I was using. Of course, this is showing up white, but it's not.
It's yellow,
Um, yeah, that well, sort of. It's
sort of.
white on the back. See if I can get it. No, you can't see it. The print is just too light on the back for you to see. But it does say Klingspor on the back. And this is my inaugural use
Klingspor
of
abrasive.
this.
As far as I'm concerned, the best abrasive out there,
It does work very well.
and it
Sure,
lasts.
seems to be. I told Rob the other day. I told him I was going to use this, and told him also the sample pack that I got at the AAW. Um, I was real happy to get it and use it, but when I used it, I was not impressed.
Okay.
Um, it just didn't. The stuff that was in that sample pack just did not hold up. Um, my little pieces about the same size as these discs. They were just squares though, but even still, um, this project would have done those squares in. So I don't know what that stuff was made for. Not made for doing wood.
Todd says he used Klingspor before Rob came around, and I have to admit I did too.
A lot of people did. A lot of people did. Um,
Mark is saying it's the finest sandpaper for sure, and available from your friendly neighborhood wood turner. Just saying. I wonder who that is.
Yeah, I wonder.
when did Kim
Is it
become a
is it
salesperson?
is it somebody I know?
I don't know if we know him or not. We've probably heard of him. And Susie said she had used it long before Rob came along, but never noticed what the brand was called.
Now, the thing is, one of the main reasons that Rob got into the community and started doing stuff was because Mark, Jamie, and I met him at a show a year past last September, and he asked me for a bit of advice about what wood turners wanted with abrasives, and then we hooked up together, Mark as well, Jamie as well, and started talking to each other. Then Rob came into the community, and things went ahead from there. Which is why, although Klingsport has been around for a hell of a lot of years, it tended to be used in the UK more in the automotive restoration type areas, whereas in the States, it's always been known for woodwork.
which is what surprised me about that sample pack that I bought. I would have thought that it would have been phenomenal stuff for
Yeah.
woodworking, and it was being sold at the AAW of all places. But yet, when I got what I got out of the pack, I got them organized and hung up here so I could cut off my little pieces. And that particular stuff just did not do what I wanted it to do.
Now,
I was real surprised.
Ben is saying that we need color coded sandpaper. And he says he'll keep saying it until someone gives in. Well, I hate to tell you, Ben, but
Simon
there is
Simon
there
Hope.
is some.
Yeah, there is some. Simon Hope, I don't know if he still does it, but Simon Hope certainly used to do color coded sandpaper.
Yeah,
And
I got
Lucy said, Wayne, was that the same day we met you? Yes, it was, Lucy, at Yandles. That's right.
yeah, I bought my color coded paper from Craft Supplies USA.
Yeah,
And
the last
it
lot
was
I
in a roll as opposed to the
yeah,
sanding
mine
bit.
was as well. The last lot I bought was from Simon Hope, but that was a good few years ago. That was. Now, Haley has said that she agrees with Ben about the colour coded, like they do in Australia. Saves writing on each bit. Well, the thing is, if you start rubbing your thumb over the abrasive sheets, you can tell the difference between 80, 120, 240, and 400. There's no need to write on the back, and most of the grits are written on the back anyway.
Yes, yes, they are. They are. They're sometimes hard to see, but they are on there. All right. Da-na-na-na.
Looking at
Yeah,
that from this angle, that doesn't look like pear to me.
it's spalted. Um,
Looks
spalted
a bit
what?
like apple.
Possibly. Um, as dry as it was, it very well could be apple.
Hmm.
Very well could be. Here we go. Now, what did I do to cause that? Oh, that's what I did. I got a little bit of a. I can't get it where you can see it. If I get that out of the way, that might help. Right, right there. You can almost see it. There's a little tiny bit of a catch where I was just trying to round this off a little bit. I mean, I was
Okay.
ready for it to come off anyway, but to finish this off, to finish the bottom and whatnot, we put this little. I need to speed it up. I need to slow it down. All right. Put this little mandrel in and we'll sand this down. Golly, that's big. It must have been a bad spot in the wood.
You could use your skew to trim that off, or
What I ought to
even
do
your
is take it.
or even your spindle gouge.
It
Right.
won't.
Now, I don't know if Haley heard me earlier on when I said, but Haley, can you message me your address, please?
Oh, all of that would work, but I'm going to go down to the bandsaw.
Yeah, that'll work.
Be a whole lot quicker. All right. Just barely touched it and it was gone.
Henry Scroll Saw Works has joined us.
God, I've forgotten his name. I know he's got it down as Henry, but I've forgotten
Larry.
his name now.
Larry.
Larry, that's it. Lawrence. And Ward's in as well. I didn't
Hey,
see Ward
Ward.
come.
Hey, Ward.
And he points out that now would be a great time to smash the like button or the thumbs up button.
Ward, you're always good about that. Thank you. I was telling Wayne and Ruby just before we came on, I've got some exciting news to share. Not quite ready to put it out there yet. Got to get some details lined out. As soon as I do, I'll be letting you guys know. It's something that'll benefit all of us. So
He's going to send us each $1 million. Isn't that lovely?
I thought, to tell you the truth, I thought that was very nice of him. I
Yep.
really did.
tell you the truth, I'd love to be able to do that. That would be so
That
cool.
just for everybody in the chat, that was just for Ruby and I, by the way.
there was a movie about a guy who secretly was giving money away, and the media got hold of it, and a couple of reporters. That was kind of they made it their life's work to figure out who in the world was doing that. They finally found him. It's quite funny.
What was it? Ward has just said. He says, I've been in earlier, but he was wearing a balaclava, so nobody recognised me.
Oh, Woodworm
And
Paul has joined us and apologizes
speaking of
for
Paul,
being so late.
Hey,
Hi,
Paul,
Paul.
you are fine. You are fine. No big deal.
Woodwork
No,
I think we're
Learner
hey,
going to
said,
be.
wait,
Woodwork Learner said, Wayne has some old sandpaper with Roman numerals on the back. Yeah, that is sand.
yeah, I have some too.
I used all mine up. It had Roman numerals on it.
Yeah, but you're much younger than we are, Doug. So
Yeah, younger, not much, but yes, younger.
right.
I know Wayne just had a birthday, so I know how old he is.
Yep, I do too.
Yeah, I'm old.
You're not that old, Wayne.
No, no, Wayne. We're both ancient. Remember, we're like fine china, ancient.
That's it.
Like fine wine, well
And
developed.
right, we've aged like a fine wine.
All
Still
right,
love
what I did
drinking it.
there,
No one to open it.
Right.
my first my first two grits I had on this, I took the intermediate pad out so that it would be stiffer. And now that I've gotten up to 180, I've put the intermediate pad back in, which is much softer. Um, then we'll go on up to
So
220.
Dale is saying he's only 2 years younger than me. And Alex is saying he's not that far behind me.
Yeah, they're still youngsters, aren't they? Aren't they, Wayne?
They are, yes. Lucy said Gideon, which is her son, refers to when she was a child as the olden days. Oh, my life.
Yeah. My son does that to me, that little booger. He's 22, and we say, yes, we understand things have changed. He says, yeah, back in the old days when you were around. And I want to just stop and smack him, whatever it is he's doing or saying. I just want to show him what I can do. I brought him into the world, and I can sure take him out.
And Marcus said, like fine wine, just mind the sediment in the bottom. Oh, thanks, Mark.
Let's see. There we go. Get rid of some of this sawdust. All right. Not exactly as planned, but here we go. Nice pod at the bottom. I was trying to round that off when my stem broke off. That's okay. I was just about there. But anyway, nice thin flower at the top and a thin stem. I'm curious, how thin is that stem? According to these little boogers here, it is 2.5 centimeters.
Millimeters.
Millimeters. Millimeters, you're right. Centimeters will be much larger.
Yeah.
Not as thin as
And
I intended, but
yeah,
it's
and for those of you over in the States, that's just under an eighth of an inch.
yeah, yeah. I meant for that to be about half, but the way it was vibrating, um, this particular piece of wood, it does wiggle. There's no question. But it was a fun one. This was the first one I've done. I'll probably do another one. Uh, Something a longer piece of wood. So that I have to do, as Ruby was suggesting, when it's in here, bring my tailstock up, put something in here, and tape it all up and pull, so that it puts the stem under tension. Those are a lot of fun to do when it's that way.
When I
What you're
when I
going to
first when
going to
I
have
first
to
start, oh,
go
go on,
ahead.
go on,
Go ahead,
Ruby.
Wayne.
No, I was going to say when I first started doing these, which was many moons ago, we never used to have the pod on the bottom. Or people that would turn them never used to have the pod on the bottom. They always used to turn it down so it had just like a goblet style type of bottom. And we usually what we did was put a couple of captive rings on as well.
Yes. Well, I was going to suggest, Doug, what you need to do now is try a proper trombleur.
If somebody asked me about that not long ago, I would love to do one, but this lathe bed's only 24 inches.
Well,
So
do it that one. The one I have standing here beside me is 4 feet long.
uh-huh. Um, I
Is
forget.
it
I looked it up one time. What's the
Ruby?
proper length?
I've got to ask Ruby. Is it not a bit? Did you do that one when you were over in France?
I did, and coming
Right.
home, they did break it near the top, so I have to repair it. But
But the thing is that now, where you went to, the school you went to, is that all set up with string hangers and everything for holding on to the stems?
yeah, and I've made all those string hangers here.
Is that not a bit of work to do?
Yes, it is. There's no question about it. You start at the tailstock end. Um, you make whatever shape you're going to make, and then there's a string hanger that fits right into the tailstock, and it
Hmm.
holds that section. And you
Okay.
come down about every 3 inches. You make it about under about the size that Doug has, and then you make another shape, and then another 3 inches, and continue until you're at the end of the piece of wood.
Yeah.
And
It's a load
between
of.
those, you have steady rests that are made with string all the way down.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've watched a couple of folks go through that process. One of these days, we'll get there. Not sure when, but one of these days we'll get there. Let's see. There we go. So, but this will get wet down real good. I may even soak it in a pot or a bucket, and then holy cow! On StreamYard, I'm way behind. I'm sitting here wiggling this thing back and forth like crazy. Are y'all seeing that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not seeing it here. Not on StreamYard. Anyway, I will soak that in a bucket of water, get it the stem real nice and limber, and if it will probably need to have a little help, but I'll get that so that it's bent um, over on at an angle. That
Before
way,
you,
that's the reason for the big heavy pod is so that it stays over to one side and it can
what you're
stay
going to want
standing
to
up.
do is soak it in water so that it's flexible.
Right, right. That's what I was saying. Soak it in a
Yeah.
bucket of water and um, yeah, so that this maybe it hangs over that far maybe, but then
Yeah.
that base will hold it up. So it'll be interesting to see how it does, see how it works out. Kind of a short one today. Should have
Oh,
had
it's not that
another,
bad.
yeah, should have had another 2 or 3 inches. It's a short project, time wise. It's a short, AGK wise. Um, I had to get that one in. Had to get that one in. Couldn't pass that one up. But anyway, it's a nice piece of wood. I could put. Let's see if I grab a paper towel real quick. I could put a little of this on it. Ooh, that's too much. There we go. That's going to be quite pretty when it gets done. I don't want to do the whole thing because that'll resist water getting into the stem. The rest of it can get it, just not the stem. Of course, it'll probably wash off anyway. Yeah, it'll come out quite nice. There's that whitish is kind of what it looks like without it. There's what it looks like with a
Hmm,
little oil on it.
quite
Comes up.
interesting.
Yeah, Wayne, you might be right. That might be apple. Might
Yeah,
be apple.
it certainly looks like apple to me.
Yeah, yeah. Got a little bit of spalting in it. That's what's going on around here with this dark color. Some spalting, and this is early spalting. All this other figure in here, all the way around and on top. Um, yeah, that'll be kind of fun to see how it works out. But I want to find another piece of wood, and in fact, I may go cut something down so I can have something about that same diameter, 3.5, 4 inches in diameter, and 8 or 9 inches long. And we'll see what we can do about making a long, thin stem with a flower. It's as big as the base, and let that booger turn and twist and do whatever it's going to do.
Yeah, do it with greenwood though, Doug.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's what I'm saying. Go cut something
Yeah.
so it's nice and green.
right.
Yeah, be fun that way. Be fun. All right. Any other questions or comments? Just don't
Well, I
throw
think I
tomatoes.
think you did a lovely job, Doug.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's a lot of fun. Worldwide Woodturners is coming up tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. That's midnight Greenwich Mean Time, 6 o'clock Central Time. Um, I don't know about Australia. I can't work that one out. Never, I get it wrong every time.
There's
Uh,
about
See,
15 hours difference there.
yeah,
it's
yeah,
either late or early, one of the two.
yeah. It'll be a Thursday sometime. We do it on Wednesday night. It'll be Thursdays there sometime because they're on the other side of the date line. So, but anyway, be glad to have you join us. That's a freebie. You go to worldwidewoodturners.org, O-R-G, and there on the left side, down just a little, just below the header, is a go to meeting button. Click on that, and it'll take you into Zoom, and one of the moderators will let you in very shortly.
Now,
Free, no charge, no passwords, no secret handshakes, none of that stuff. Just a lot of fun. So be glad to have
yeah.
you.
Now, Al is asking, uh, um, he has a piece of wood, or if he has a piece of wood which is not wet, and he wants to turn a cowboy hat, can I soak it in water for moisture?
My experience is it doesn't work very well. You're better off to get a really
Yeah,
the more fresh cut a piece of wood is, the easier it turns for a hat.
yeah,
Yes.
definitely,
Yes.
definitely. And the thing is with using wet wood, the same as what Doug's been doing tonight. If you use wet wood, you can actually use a light to see how thin you've gone, which is really important when you're doing the likes of what Doug's done tonight. When you're doing the likes of any type of hat, really, the wetter the wood is, the better, because you can shine a light and you can see how thin you're going. And that's what
Yeah.
most people do when they're turning hats. They will use lights to see how thin they're going.
This just barely allows, because it is dry, it barely allows any light. When the tip of this light is right up against the wood, you sort of see it
Yeah,
there at
yeah, you can just
about
see the tip.
8:30.
You can just see the tip of the light.
Yeah, there's the light. It's fairly bright.
Yeah,
Anyway,
when
but
I'm
because it's
turning,
dry, it doesn't
yeah,
transmit as well. I did learn years and years ago from Ron Kent, if I were to take this same piece now and soak it in, uh, okay, I'm not on. Okay, if I soak that in oil, like get a big bucket of oil and drop it in there, let it soak, drip dry, wipe off the excess 30 minutes or so later, do that several cycles. This will get more and more translucent as it goes, as the oil seeps deeper and deeper into the wood. Doesn't make the wood green again, but it makes it more translucent, um, which is an interesting concept, turning your bowls down less than an eighth of an inch, soaking them in oil repeatedly. Takes a long time to to get them thoroughly through and through oiled, but once you do, it's amazing how the light will transmit through some of that stuff. But only with light colored wood. It won't you'll never get walnut to transmit light at all. Just doesn't happen. Let's see. We talked about worldwide wood turners. Talked about I've got some exciting news coming in the days ahead. Got to work out some links and that kind of thing. Once I do, I'll share all that information with you guys. Um, Anything else, Wayne? You got anything coming up?
I am hoping to do a live tomorrow night. I have been in contact with the guys who earworm, and they're all up for it.
Excellent.
I've not, I to tell you the truth, I haven't been in the workshop for well over a month. Not even to have a look in there at the mess that it usually is.
Wayne, you must be suffering from withdrawal.
Well, no, the problem is, Ruby, I just haven't had the motivation to
Yeah.
get off my backside and get in there. But I am planning on doing a piece tomorrow night, and it's going to be a piece that I received a couple of bits of wood from Haley from Wood and Burl. She contacted me before the Harrogate show and said she was going to bring a couple of bits of wood, which she thought was a wood called Eki, which is EKKI.
Hmm.
And now I've had a look at obviously I've had a look at the wood that she gave me, and I'm pretty certain it's Jarrah.
Okay.
So it is going to be a very hard piece of wood to turn because Jarrah is. It is
And it
very,
can be
very
brittle.
dry. So we'll see. So we'll see.
Yeah.
The one thing I'm not going to do is use a screw chuck. After
Oh,
after my experience at Harrogate using camel thorn.
yeah, you have real good luck with screw chucks, don't you?
Oh, I tell you, the guys who I can't remember who they were. I'm sure Jamie will remember the name of the firm. But they said, "Is there any chance you can turn this in a so people can see what it's like when it's turned?" I said, "Yeah, of course I can." So I shoved it on the screw chuck. It was only a small piece. It was only about 4 inches, I think. Could I get that thing off the screw chuck? Could I hell?
Well, how about yourself, Ruby? You got anything coming up?
Just some commercial jobs that have come in,
Very good. Very good.
and
Um,
a couple new students. So
Very good. Um, just an example, last week on Woodwide World Turners, we had Steve Twaddell, and he did a phenomenal job doing
yes,
a
he
box
did.
inside of a box. Um, Great demonstration, and everybody went crazy over one thing. Here we go. Get it down where you can see it. There's a 1/4 inch skew that was longer than most of the skews on the market. I've got one I can show you just by example. There we
Yeah,
go.
that one looks more like a beading parting tool that's been ground as a skew.
Yeah, I mean this is it is thin, a thin skew. If I were to put that completely over the tool rest, as long as Steve was last week, it would be bouncing up and down. This one won't bounce. This is 1/4 inch all the way around. Um, so I'm excited about getting a short handle on it and then putting it to good use. Almost got it ground right. I've got one side it's just a tad. Um, this side here is just a tad shorter than the other side, so I need to flatten that out, and then hone the edge, get it good and sharp. Um, anyway, a whole bunch of us went out during the demo and ordered us up from Amazon, just pieces of high speed steel. Um, Whatever that is, 8 inches long or something, a little longer. Yeah, right at 8 inches. So 1/4 inch, 8 inches long. Simple grinding. Took me about 5 minutes there before anybody else. Well, Ruby came in while I was doing it, and so I just now turn a little handle, and stick that piece of steel in the handle, and I'll have myself a sturdy 1/4 inch long skew. So if nothing else, we got skew ideas.
You
Right.
guys are all queued up.
Yeah,
Yes.
Jimmy's just put in the name of the firm that supplied the camel thorn when I was at Harrogate, and it's
Yeah.
Woodshop Direct, and this is probably purely for people who are in the UK.
Yeah.
Woodshop Direct.
All right. Thank you, Jamie. Yeah, I see it there. Well, now Woodshop Direct. Matt Harbor, good to see you. Yes, Matt, we did. We cleaned Amazon out of that stuff. 6x6 and 6x4. 6x4 was gone real quick. They only had 1 pack of that left, but they're probably in the process of trying to restock. Um, Goodness gracious, I'll have to go back through the chat. It looks like a good chat. So, anyway, good to see everybody today. We're going to call this one done. I've still got to wet that down and warp that stem a little bit, and I'll be posting that on social media as soon as we get that all together.
Yeah, Gerard's just said he might pop in tomorrow night because he's not working, even if it is late for us on this side of the pond. Yeah, I
Yeah.
usually pop in for a while, Gerard.
Yeah,
Yep, I'll
it's
see you
it's one of
tomorrow
those
night too.
it's one of those things that you come in when you can, you leave when you need to, and nobody thinks any worse for it. So it's all good. It's all good. All right, boys and girls, it's been good to have you. We turned some wood around. We made some shavings and a little bit of a mess. It won't take too long to clean that up. So we will see you all next week, if not before. Bye bye.
Night, everybody.
Bye-bye.